You'll never find anything other than experience, other than what's here, what's showing up, right? We could call that experience. It's a good word. I like the word. That's all we'll ever find. This experience, that which is the only thing we'll ever find, by its very nature, and this is the key, you could say the essence of what I share, is that the experience, what's here, transcends whatever we think it is. It transcends all definitions and all descriptions. In other words, it's more than the definitions. It cannot be encapsulated by words or concepts. Those frames of reference can't hold what's here, cannot encompass what's here, because what's here is too vast, too infinite, too multidimensional, too ungraspable. So this experience, the only thing we have, is by its very nature beyond anything that we might conceive of it to be. I mean, that right there is a profound thing to consider. Because the only thing that's here, experience, transcends our definitions and descriptions, anything that you might imagine yourself finding and locating is pure transcendence, pure mystery, pure indefinability. That's all there is. All there is transcendence. This is transcendence, this moment, exactly as it is. No matter how we might be describing it. So it seems oftentimes, maybe even most of the time, that we live in a world of our definitions. Even that we live in a world is a definition, isn't it? I is a definition, live is a definition, and world is a definition. It's a way of trying to characterize something that's here, right? Those three words. So it seems, again, like as if that's the way things are, that yes, in fact, all the names that we have for things, the descriptions, the definitions, the characterizations, the categories, all of this stuff is what's actually here, right? It seems that way, doesn't it? Kind of taken for granted that, oh yeah, this is what I say it is. It's a compelling, the way it seems to be based on language and definition and description is a compelling one. Seems like I'm able to capture what's here in words. It can seem that way, right? But actually, reality, and you could say you, we exist outside of all the definitions and their seeming limitations, all the descriptions. All the stories, all the narratives, all the identities. We're always outside of those in the sense of the identities, the stories, the dramas, the narratives cannot capture this. For this is inherently transcendental. What you're feeling, this is not an abstract thing that I'm saying. What you're actually feeling right now has no name. It has no, I mean, consciousness may be able to seemingly give it a name to characterize it and then talk to ourselves about it or someone else about what's happening experientially. But feel what's here, feel what's here. The felt sense of this moment. Take one very seemingly concrete, definable phenomena, all right? Like light. Oh yeah, I'm seeing light. Of course, light is very subtle as a phenomena. And explore what is light. I mean, you've got a name for it, right? You know what light is. We all agree that's light. We're seeing light. What is it actually? What is light? Whether your eyes are closed or not, because when your eyes are closed, in a sense, they're still seeing. What is light? It's endless. Whatever you might find there that you might say, oh, that's what light is. Now I've got it. I've defined what it is. I know what it is. It's this. This is light. Then enter into that which you imagine you've discovered to be what light is, and you'll find more and more. It's endless what light is. You never ever arrive at the answer to what light is. Do you? You finally get to the bottom of it. You like arrive at the conclusion in your own experience of what light is. And you can do this with anything, any phenomena that is encountered, seemingly describable, like breathing. Oh yeah, I know what breathing is. It's breathing. It's obvious what breathing is. Feel breathing, what you call breathing. What is that word referring to? You could say the movement of something. I mean, you could say it's the movement of air, but what is that? What is it that's moving? Not as a concept, as a feeling. Because all these things that we name begin with experience. That's the basis of the naming, right? Something's there, it's being experienced, and then there's a label that's given to it. But what is that? Feel breathing. Feel that. Feel the subtlety of what is there, the ungraspable nature of it. And then go into that subtlety. What are the particles of breathing? What is it composed of? You're thrust into absolute mystery, aren't you? Instantly. You can't find what it is. This is the curious thing about phenomena. They're here as concrete, you could say, substantial, seemingly concrete, substantial phenomena that we're just bombarded with, right? At every turn. Thoughts, feelings, sensations. I'm giving words to those things, but when you go to look for anything that you think you have a definition of, you just find endlessness, you find infinity. Infinity is staring us in the face, literally. The bottomless nature of this, the indefinable nature of this. This is what I meant when I said that we exist outside of all the frames of reference, all the definitions, all the narratives, all the dramas associated with those narratives. They cannot capture what's here. What's here is not capturable. That's freedom. Everything is free, radically free of all the seeming concepts and definitions. Everything in that sense is completely unlimited in its nature, completely unbounded. Just as it is. Your normal so-called everyday existence. Drinking a glass of water. I just described something, right? Every single part of that is infinity, entirely. What is water? Well, it's obvious. I know what water is. It's water. But what it is made of, what are the building blocks of our experience is essentially what I'm asking. We just take it for granted that we know what this stuff is because we have names for it. And the power of language is such that it sort of leads us to believe that we've got a handle on what all this is because we've been able to put it in a conceptual box. But if we investigate experience, which all the labels again are built upon and based upon, we'll come up with the realization, we'll arrive at the realization of transcendence. I mean, feel what we call the body, concrete form, fixed form, solid, got a solid edge around it, right? Yeah, it's like, it's definitely a thing that's nameable and feelable and describable and concrete, right? And feels like it's often the felt feeling is it's what separates subjectivity from objectivity, from self from others, the body, right? But feel this thing that we have a name for called body. Feel what is body? The experience of a body. It's a dance of electricity, of a dance of energy, right? I mean, what is the body? And what is that dance? What is that dance? There's not anything there that's closed. There's not anything there that's a clearly identifiable form, a nameable form. It's just pure open-ended indefinability as a feeling. I mean, again, what's fun about this and easy in a sense is that anything that's encountered, apply the same sort of investigation that I'm inviting you into, and you come up with the same thing. The feeling of being here, right? It's the most primal feeling, you could say, being here, right? Investigate being here. Well, yeah, being here, it's obvious. It's concretely, substantially, obviously the case. But what is being? What is life? The most basic thing about reality and us, aliveness. What is aliveness? What are the building blocks of life itself? We imagine that what happens at the time of this thing called death is the great mystery. But what happens in this thing we call life is equally mystery. It's no less a mystery than death. Just look, what is it? What is life? There's many different ways to discover the mysterious, unknowable nature of this. One is to not refer to the past to know what this is, right? Because our knowledge of what this is based on the past, isn't it? Oh, I've seen this before. That's how I know what it is. It's a phone. But what is it like to just encounter it in the immediacy without referring to whatever it is we've been told it is, we've learned that things are? What is this moment just now without referring to the past? Like you just got plopped down and you've never been in this moment before. You've never experienced this before, which of course you haven't. We've never experienced this moment before. Isn't that amazing? It's absolutely just now. I mean, it's a really curious thing that the past is just absolutely, there is no past. I mean, there's something called memory of something that we would say was previously. But that's its own hypothesis, speculation. Just meet what's here now. I mean, that's the only time you're ever meeting what's here, actually, is in the instant of its appearance. That's what's alive. The abstractions about it, the knowledge about it, however useful we could argue that is, and clearly, that could be argued, is an abstraction. In a sense, it's not alive. This is alive. And this is unknowing, unknowable. There's no prior reference point for this. There's no story here in the feeling of this moment, is there? There's no narrative. Not yet. That may come, but then the narrative is about something that's not here anymore, right? Because of the shape-shifting nature of this. And this investigation, last thing I'll say, and we'll open up for some conversation, is that this is I'm using words, of course, but the exploration of this is that I'm, talking about with words is a wordless investigation. It's a non-conceptual investigation. It's feeling what's here. The presence of whatever is here. Whatever seems to be showing up as flavors and textures and qualities that with all sorts of names but it's going back to what are all the labels referring to? What's there? We say, I'm afraid. What's actually there? And what's discovered is you can't find it. What's there is infinity. That's being labeled as fear or joy or sorrow or ecstasy. And this discovery of the transcendental, inherently transcendental nature of all of the words, all of the definitions, is yet another way to cut through, as I am often saying, the hierarchy of things. This is better than that. This is more God than that. No, it's all God. It's all transcendental. All of it. Every narrative, pure transcendence. Every description, every interpretation, every identity. So it's not getting rid of the narratives, it's not getting rid of the interpretations or the identities. It's just seeing that they don't hold up under scrutiny. They're not what we imagine them to be. What we call bondage is pure freedom, because everything is pure freedom. So there's no better or worse experience from that standpoint. Like the ebook that I was talking about at the outset, it says everything is the doorway. Everything is the doorway because everything is the doorway. Because everything is it. The pure transcendence of this.